That's hard to match that. I just let him take the show now. I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming and your
I have to pick
enormous
it up.
amount of support. I know some of you have
She's
traveled
left.
by plane
You
all
picking
day
it
by
up?
car. We got Florida in the house. We got Georgia in the house. We got Indiana in the house, right? Did I miss anyone? And I also want a huge thank to my family. They've really helped bail me out with a lot of things here at the last minute, things that normally I would be doing on my parental motherly role. So thanks to my mom, my husband, my 2 boys for picking up the slack so I could get this accomplished. And their support has been amazing also. Now, I want to tell you about how this began. It began almost 2 years ago in February. So I went to this master class, and the idea was I just really wanted to help everyone connect more with my art, understand, more about my art. If you look, I have a tendency to paint a little bit more colorful than everyone else. I think for me, the color represents joy and happiness. And you're going to see that in the book, and you'll understand more about it then. There are chapters that, what happened is when this was being planned, I was thinking, how am I going to do all these paintings? There's so many, and the idea of chapters came up, and they kept coming up. And then somebody mentioned, oh, you've got a story to tell. And so I kept kind of getting this guidance to write a book, which honest to God, never thought I'd write a book. I don't even read a whole lot, to tell you the truth. But I really felt, since I went through deep depression in my teens, which you're going to see in this talk, I pulled myself out of it and snapped out of it and got on the right track. And I always felt like I really wanted to reach out and help other people since then. So that's pretty much the way it goes. We've all been, I think most of us can say we've all been a little broken somewhere along the lines, but it's a matter of how we process it and deal with that can make the difference. You can stay stuck in that dark spot, or you can choose to persevere and push through. I'm not the kind of person that's going to let it hold me down. So I have to have these because I have so much information in my mind that it keeps me on track. Otherwise, I'm not going to know exactly where I am. Each chapter, the way this is set up, each one of these paintings represent a chapter in the book. Okay, so they're all symbolic. In the story, you're going to see I've experienced multiple forms of abuse. I've been through sexual abuse as a toddler, and this was not my parents. My parents are here; they're wonderful. It was just a caretaker. I was threatened if I ever told my mom that I would get, excuse my French, but this big scary man told me he'd beat my ass, and I wasn't even 5 yet. And the abuse continued in various forms for some reason throughout my life. I went through physical, mental, the violence and sexual abuse as well. So the book heavily focuses on that and overcoming it. Those things held me back enough, so I'm like, it's not going to hold me back anymore. And I'm going to go after my dreams in life, my dreams and passion. And I really wanted to take this moment to encourage anyone that's been through any of this to just don't let it hold you back. It holds us back enough. So keep going for your dreams, please. And along with that, I'm going to have to ask my best friend in the world that came here. She's a big character in the book, by the way, Vicki. But can you step aside for a moment so I can start my talk over here? And Wendy. Thanks. Okay, so along with that, we're going to go over to start with chapter 1, where apparently I was a born artist, and I'm going to hand it over to my mom for about a minute here just to tell the story. Mom, it's all yours. Just because, moms tell the story so much better than, and I don't remember this. So this is this painting here that you're talking about. So this top painting in the baby bed.
I'm Pat, Tina's mom. Thanks for coming. Tina started at an early age, before she could walk, painting. And our bedroom was right next to hers, and I always kept the door ajar, just so many inches. And she slept in late that particular morning, which was unusual for her because she had an enormous appetite as a toddler. And I thought, well, there's probably something not right here. So I peeked in the door, and she was busily into my oil paints that I had on the chest of drawers. I had bought a paint by number set. That's how good I am at art. But she decided to get into it, and she was having a ball. I stood there and peeked through the door, and she was really into it, and she had it smeared on her face, on her onesie, all over the baby bed, the wall, and so I watched her for a while, and I opened the door and I said, "What are you doing?" And she, like this, and to this day, I have marked her.
Yes.
Because I can walk in a room if she's engrossed in something, I'll say Tina, and she'll, "What?" So that's how her art started.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of it, but I do have quite the startle reflex that my mom and my husband have a lot of fun with me on that one. So I want to go on and talk to you a little bit more about what is in chapter 1. Over here is, I chose a rabbit to represent the chapter. And what I did in the beginning is I had to research all these different animals and, any meanings that were, people have assigned to them. Whatever was symbolic to relate to the chapters. I chose based on my interpretation because rabbits they're victims of prey, and they're vulnerable. So I titled him Innocent Bunny, and but it does represent that time in childhood where I went through those abusive situations and so forth. But I also found out through my research that was my interpretation. Rabbits represent abundance. So I like that. In this chapter, I just talk a little bit about I'm trying to see here. Oh yeah, there's a couple other things in there that I talk about. I have biracial grandparents, and just real quick, I know that's been a big topic of discussion lately. There's a lot of things going on, with racism and Black Lives Matter and so forth. And I grew up with this. I didn't get to meet my mom's dad because he wasn't right after World War II, so I never got that connection with him. And Dad, I don't know where you are. Well, Dad has, a lot of brothers and sisters, so I was one of many grandkids, but I was kind of the only one here. So I grew up with this Black grandfather, and I'm still very close with him. He's amazing to me, and there's a few stories about that in the book, along with my mom, who also worked in Indianapolis public schools during desegregation. So she has some interesting stories to tell about it, but I think that she was a good person for the job because, we could get along with everyone. It doesn't matter what your skin color is.